Lesson number 4. How to meditate and questions answered concerning meditation. Meditation is the key that will open the door to your inner self, wherein lies all the true power for material manifestation. For as sound springs from the silences, so does positive action come from inner knowing. It has been said that one must lose one's life to find it. Applied to meditation, it means that one must lose or forget one's mortal body in order to become aware of one's immortality. That is exactly what happens when we seek the light of self-illumination in our eternal selves. The great glory of existence is reached only by mind awareness. You can only reach supreme heights that way. In that ecstatic existence is the seed and source of all power and all knowledge which is yours by just desiring it. It is not easy to acquire the meditative state all at once, even as carefully as these lessons tell you how to acquire it. It must come slowly and always through desire to talk with God. There is no other way. You must either desire to live in the sensed body of earth or in the light of the mind kingdom of heaven. That is the answer to those who say they try to meditate but find that they cannot stop thinking to get into that state of mind. To those who are thus troubled in making the transition, I would say that if you desired to talk to the President of the United States, your mind would be centered in the reason why you desired to talk to him. Exactly the same procedure takes place when you wish to talk with God. Your mind is centered on your desire. You could not possibly think of other things, nor could your thinking wander aimlessly. Concentrate hard upon your desire if you wish to, or just breathe your desire softly, or just write it upon your heart wordlessly. Perhaps your desire has no definite objective other than to find the peace of heavenly companionship by dwelling in the love nature of yourself and God. It makes no difference what your desire is or whether your approach is in deep concentration upon some specific thing or in dreamy decentration upon some nebulous forming ideal or upon nothing at all. You cannot concentrate long in any case, not more than 5 to 10 minutes, before the reaction of decentration replaces it. Gradually, the inspiration you ask for will come to you. Before you can realize it, you will find yourself stepping in and out of the body in that alternation which always takes place while losing one's sensed awareness completely in full forgetfulness of body and full awareness of the light of knowing which mind is. Slowly, very slowly, read the answer to the first question on how to meditate. Then follow through one step at a time, letting the ego of your material self melt into the great being of your eternal self. Gradually you will find it becomes increasingly easy to merge into the oneness of the universe. The secrets of the universe will then be gradually revealed to you, and you must then put your inner knowing into material action. Remember, you have all knowledge and power within you. So tap your inner reservoir and express your inherent genius. That was an answer, but it didn't show the question. Now here's the next question. How can I decentrate into this stillness of the meditative mood? The more I try to stop thinking, the more things I keep thinking of. Answer. Desire to be in the light. Say to yourself, wordlessly, I want to be alone with God. If you do want to be alone with God, there is a reason for it. That reason is that you need God. You have a desire you want fulfilled, a problem to solve, illness, misfortune, financial loss, or need, ideal for invention, conception for work or art. No matter what it is you need, whether knowledge, power, or inspiration, no matter what it is, desire it in your heart, wordlessly. Do not talk to God in words. Talk to Him in essence. Know Him. Do not think of him and thus make him objective and apart from you. Be him. Let your soul touch his soul. Second, your desire is written upon your heart. It is registered in your soul. It is no longer your body desire, it is your soul's desire. You are in communion with God about it, not in words, but in light. You have an increasing sense of joyousness. Your desire is written into the universal heartbeat rhythmically. You are responding to it rhythmically. You are no longer just body. You are soul, slightly aware of body, slightly aware of earth and the heavens above, and of creating things. You are not thinking of extraneous things. You cannot think of objective things of earth while in the spirit. Third, you are in a contemplative mood. There is an indescribable peace in its rest. Your soul sees the beauty of the flower you are passing. It is not your eyes which see that beauty, nor your ears which hear the silences from which the sounds of earth spring. You are in the rhythmic world of imagining, the world of inspiration, the world of the high heavens, the formless, indescribable world of the high heavens. Fourth, you are in communion with God. You are one with all things. All things are one. You know all things as one. You know the light which all things are. You know the love nature of God and of all things. You know God as love. You know yourself as love. You know the ecstasy of love. You know yourself. The mortal you has become the eternal you. That which you desired to know, fifth, that which you desired to know, you do know. That which you desired to have, you do now have. You have always known and always have had that which you have but desired. You have always known it in spirit, for you are the light of all knowing, which spirit is. God does not give you knowledge or power. He gives you an awareness that you already have all knowledge and all power that He has, for He makes you aware of your oneness with Him. When you actually know that, you can then say, "My Father and I are one." Neither does God give you material things without your equal re-giving, for that is the inviolate law regarding all material things. He gives you the seed, but you must nurture the seed. He gives you His body to fashion into the form of your desire, but you must give equally of your body to fashion it. God gives you the tools you need, but you must use them. God manifests the spirit of His nature in His own body by creating His body in the image of His self. You must manifest the spirit of your nature in your own body by creating your body in the image of yourself. Sixth, in meditation you have stepped out of the material into the spiritual you. You have stepped out of the body of yourself into the mind of yourself. Out of the manifestation of reality into reality. You have stepped out of the conditioned universe of divided and unbalanced things into the unconditioned and undivided universe of balance, which controls unbalanced things. You have done this because you had desire in you which must be fulfilled. Your desire has been fulfilled. God has illumined you with the knowledge you desired. You have become inspired. Conception of idea in spiritual form is now in you. But can you now come back into the physical world and transform your conceived image into a material one? You now know cause. Can you translate it into effect? God has given you what you have desired, but now comes the important question as to what you are going to do about it. How shall you use it? Have you the moral courage to use it, or are you still a weakling, preferring to suffer the effects of your ills rather than remove their cause? Shall you work with God and arise, or against God and fail? Your body manifests your mind. It will do what you command it to do. Is it ill? If so, it is out of balance. Balance is in the eternal you. Now extend balance to the mortal you. Whatever your problem was, it has been solved in the spirit of you. Can you now manifest it? Can you now give it a body? Can you now extend your spiritual balance to your unbalanced physical body to stop the wreckage of your business or heal your body or regain a lost friendship? Conclusion. All of our problems of life lie in the fact that we are forever manifesting cause by extending cause into effect. What we know spiritually, we are endeavoring to manifest physically. We succeed or fail, partially or fully. Our failure is certain if we work alone without God, for we can do nothing of ourselves alone. The measure of our ability to transform the reality of cause into its simulated manifestation is a measure of our God awareness coupled with desire to work knowingly with God from moment to moment. To commune with God for inspiration alone, then forget God until later on when mediocrity is stamped upon your work, is to fall short of manifesting your soul's desire. But to create a masterpiece which truly manifests your soul's desire means that you must work knowingly with God every moment while interpreting the rhythms of your inspired vision into rhythmic forms. God's creative processes are our creative processes. His creations are extension of His knowing, transformed into the desired thought form through action. Our creations are also extensions of our knowing transformed by action. If we think that God has not granted our desire, it is because we have failed to manifest the awareness which He has given us. If our problems are still unbalanced, it is because we have failed to extend our balance to them. We have that balance to extend, but do not extend it. We continue the cause of our ills and then blame God for continuing their effects. In this manner, we learn our lessons of failure or success, good or ill. Life is just a lesson, just a continuous process of learning how to transform cause into effect in such a manner that we accomplish what we desire to accomplish or we do not. There is only one reason for failure to fulfill your greatest desire, just as there is but one reason for fulfilling it abundantly. I cannot fully explain and define this one reason so early in the unfolding of this new knowledge, for you are not yet ready for it, and will not be until I am enabled to change some basic misconceptions commonly held by all mankind of this present age. Gradually, as the real pictures of God and nature unfolds, this one reason will be given to you as the most basic and fundamental law and principle of creation. Also, it is inviolate, whether heeded or unheeded. All I can say now is to repeat again the fact that this universe is based upon love and the law of love, which is the principle of rhythmic, balanced interchange, or equal giving for regiving, as the basis of what I shall try to gradually unfold. To say that it can now be comprehended is to assume that you know what love means, and you do not. Its meaning has not yet penetrated human consciousness sufficiently to become a part of human practice. Words alone will not convey knowledge of God's one law to you. You must know it in your heart until it becomes your nature. When it becomes your nature, you will then practice it without compromise or without the possibility of violating it. When you and many other men have acquired this understanding as a part of your nature, the day of cosmic man will have dawned. Question. You say that God does not give us material things without our equal regiving. That is contrary to all of my whole life's teachings, which say that all God's gifts are free that God gives us everything, supplies all our needs freely and without price, as freely as the air we breathe? Answer: that idea is one of the commonly accepted misconceptions I have just referred to. It is entirely erroneous because it is not either the nature of God, nor does it conform with His law, as exemplified in the universal heartbeat and in the electric wave. Let us begin to reform our old conceptions, one step at a time. God works with you, not for you as man believes. God gives, but you must re-give, and equally. God gives you the free will right to your action, but withholds the right to the reaction. Woe betide you if your action is out of balance with its reaction, for God will not allow unbalance in all His universe. You have spoken of the air we breathe. God gives it to us from His body, but we must breathe it in. Then we must re-give it equally to His body for re-giving. Likewise, God gives us our very bodies from His body, and we re-give them back to His body equally for re-giving. He gives us our daily bread for our bodies, but we must nurture and attend our bodies continually, else His gift of bread would be of no avail. God gives us the seed, but we must nurture the seed. Those who believe that God's gifts are free spend much time in wishful thinking and selfish prayers, and the making of many useless affirmations in the hope and belief that God will work magic at their request and drop money or the applause of men or the full-grown fruit of their desire right in their laps, freely and with no effort on their part. Let God do it, they say, and ask and you shall receive, and with faith and belief you can move mountains. Men have removed mountains by working with the knowledge and power given by God, but not through idleness and wishful thinking. God has given man the power to fly the heavens of the whole world, to talk simultaneously to the whole world of men, to command the tides, to sail under the seas, and to harness Niagara, but not by wishful thinking, nor by faith and belief, nor by sitting idly and letting God do it. The only way men have done these things is to re-give of themselves for that which God has given to His self. If you ask God to help you become a concert pianist, He will unfailingly help you and work with you. God will, but He will not work for you while you sit and affirm that you are getting to be a concert pianist. That is what I mean when I say that you must work knowingly with God, knowing that God is working with you, giving you exactly what you are able to give back equally from moment to moment, and not more, but setting no limitations on what He will give, for God lets you set those limitations, which may be bounded or unbounded, as great or as small as your desire is great or small. God works with engineers and architects to build great bridges and cathedrals, with poets to create great epics, with painters and sculptors to create great masterpieces, with inventors to ease man's burden. But God does not work for them. He gives all they ask and can receive, but they must re-give equally. Let us be specific. Let us say you want to have an apple orchard in your meadow. Your meadow is, your desire is for wonderful apples, the best ever grown. Your meadow is God's body. If you put seeds in it where you desire the trees to be, God's body will extend apple trees and apples in due time, and of a quality measured by the equality and inequality of your re-givings of your body in service of watering, pruning, and other expressions of love given by you to match the love given by God. The wonderful apples of your desire will come only if love given by you equals love given to you. A story is told about a farmer who desired a wonderful farm and asked God for it. Soon he found a rocky and worn-out farm and purchased it, whereupon a critical neighbor said, "You prayed for a wonderful farm. If this is what God gave you, what good is prayer? God is answering my prayer. You wait and see." This is all I could give now to match his giving, but he will give more when I give more." So the farmer worked knowingly and lovingly with God, and God worked with him with equal love. Year after year, God extended love from his body and the farmer from his, until the wonderful farm of his desire stood before him in all of its majesty as a co-creation of God and man. 5 years of this, and his minister looked out over the lovely, well-cultivated fields and said, "How wonderfully God has blessed you with this beautiful farm. How lovely and rich these fields are." "Yes," said the farmer, "but you should have seen it when God worked it alone." There is not the slightest irreverence to this story, for it is law, and it is the way God works. The critical neighbor was wrong in expecting God to give it to the farmer more than he could re-give. And the farmer was right in stating that God was answering his prayer. The law of equal giving for re-giving is absolute. You must give equally for what is given you. An effort on your part must pay for the effort on God's part. If you stop giving, you will shut off your own supply. If the heavens cease giving rains to the earth ceases giving crops and forests to the heavens. God's law will never give you anything without an equivalent repayment in action. You must nurture the health which is given you and give much care to your body as long as you use that gift. You could starve with food 10 feet away from you unless you gave effort in reaching for it and more effort in making use of it. Love means exchange of service for service, and God's law demands that service given must equal service rendered. And I will end